Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex ideas from various sources and, well, make them make sense for you.
That's the goal.
Today we're diving into a really interesting message. It comes from a being calling himself Zorian of Sirius, shared through a YouTube channel.
Zorian of Sirius, okay.
Yeah. And our mission, really, is to explore his vision of what he calls a new Earth. We want to look at the idea of a grand ascension, the role of free will in all this.
Which sounds crucial.
Exactly. And importantly, figure out how these big concepts might actually apply to, your own life, your journey.
Right, bringing it down to earth, so to speak.
Precisely. So let's start with this new Earth concept. What is Zorian actually describing?
Well, he frames the new earth not so much as a place you go to, but more like a divine map of conscious evolution.
A map. Okay.
Yeah, he sees it as a higher state of being. It's where humanity starts to wake up to its true multidimensional nature.
Multidimensional nature. What does that mean in his terms? Like beyond 3D?
Essentially, yes. It's about accessing parts of yourself that aren't just physical. Think deeper intuition, maybe expanded awareness, a sort of cosmic understanding that he suggests has always been there, just latent.
Okay.
And he really stresses this isn't just some, abstract idea. He calls it a profound shift in the very fabric of your collective reality.
The fabric of reality. That's big.
It is. And in this higher state, the old divisions, the dualities that come from fear, they supposedly dissolve.
Making way for something else.
For a more harmonious and unified way of living, one that's much more closely aligned with the divine source, as he puts it. The idea is harmony comes from within, from letting go of that fear.
Inner state creating outer reality. That resonates. And connected to this, he mentions a grand ascension event. What's his take on ascension? What does it mean here?
Right, ascension. For Zorian, it's not about physically leaving the planet or anything like that.
Okay, good to clarify.
It's more of an inner call, an ascent to higher dimensions of thought, emotion, and spirit. He has this line: consciousness, when allowed to expand unhindered, possesses a power beyond measure.
Wow.
And he sees humanity's collective energy as reaching a kind of vibrational nexus point, like evolutionary triggers are activating now.
Triggering the shift?
Exactly. And it's not random. He links it back to Gaia, to Earth itself. Apparently, Earth agreed long ago to descend into a denser state.
Agreed. With whom?
With the understanding, he says, that this grand ascension would eventually happen, like a sacred promise made in concert with the Prime Creator. It suggests our struggles are part of a bigger evolutionary arc.
So, the planet's journey is intertwined with ours in this ascension. That leads to the big question, though. Does everyone go? Does everyone participate in this shift to the new Earth?
Yeah, the everyone question. It's a common one, and Zorian tackles it head on. He emphasizes the power of free will.
Meaning,
not everyone chooses this path, or at least not simultaneously. He actually gives some numbers, which are quite startling.
numbers. What does he suggest?
He says, current estimates suggest that perhaps only 20% to 30% of the population may choose this path of ascension at this particular juncture.
20 to 30% only.
Wow.
That feels low. And maybe a bit concerning for some people.
It can sound that way, definitely. But he's quick to add that these numbers are fluid, always changing with collective consciousness. Many timelines exist, he says.
Okay, so it's not set in stone. But what about the implication for those who, don't ascend? Are they left behind?
That's the crucial point he makes. No, they are not being left behind or punished.
Okay, that's important.
He frames it as them simply opting at a soul level for a different pace or path of evolution. It's a choice respected by the universe.
A different pace.
And he offers reassurance, saying, the love that binds all beings absolutely transcends physical separation. No one is truly apart from the collective heart. His words are, no soul is ever lost. They just continue their journey, perhaps on a different timeline or reality construct, but always connected.
That focus on choice and compassion is really central, isn't it? So, if someone does choose this path, what happens personally? How does this manifest within us as we align with these higher frequencies?
Well, he talks about an unfolding, a sort of blossoming of spiritual gifts.
Gifts? Like what?
Things that might have been dormant. He lists examples like clairvoyance, energy healing, telepathy, channeling, intuitive knowing, stuff like that.
So psychic abilities or heightened intuition?
Pretty much. He sees it as a natural response to the higher energies of ascension. It's an invitation, he says, to awaken potentials already within you. It's less about gaining something new, more about remembering or reactivating your true self.
Okay, awakening latent potentials. That makes sense. Is there anything practical we can do to sort of encourage this? Does he offer advice beyond just waiting?
Oh, definitely. He recommends practices that help quiet the mind and open the heart space. Things like daily meditation, mindful breathing, and quiet moments spent in nature.
The classics, really.
Yes, but he calls them powerful catalysts for integrating the incoming energies. And beyond that, there's a strong call to consciously release any remaining attachments to old patterns.
Like what kind of patterns?
Specifically, he mentions lower vibrational energies like fear, anger, resentment. It's about actively letting go of the old baggage to make room for the new.
Right, clearing out the closet. And this personal work, it obviously affects more than just us. How does he talk about the collective impact, this unity consciousness?
Unity consciousness, yeah. For him, it's fundamentally a call to recognize the interconnectedness of all life.
Seeing past separation.
Exactly, to see beyond the persistent illusion of separation. He emphasizes that every single act of compassion, every moment of forgiveness, every expression of love, it all contributes to lifting the collective spirit.
So our individual state really matters for the whole.
Immensely. And he gives a special nod to those he calls starseeds and light workers. He says, "You volunteer to be the torchbearers of a new way, to step boldly into a future guided by love, compassion, and unity. Your very presence here helps accelerate things."
Torchbearers. That's
Yeah.
a powerful image. This connects to another term he uses that caught my eye, the Christed state of consciousness. What's that about? Is it tied to Christianity?
Good question. He's very clear that it does not belong to any single individual or religion.
Okay, so universal.
Yes, he calls it a universal potential lying within each of you. What makes it powerful in his description is that universality. It's about embodying qualities like unconditional love, compassion, moving beyond the ego's knee-jerk reactions in your daily life.
So how does he define it then?
As the embodiment of unconditional love, of transcending the limiting patterns of the ego, and of living a life of divine service, compassion, and unity. It's about actively cultivating that state within yourself, aligning with these new earth energies, and through that, helping the collective wake up.
A universal potential for unconditional love and service. That's a really interesting way to frame it. And speaking of love, this might be one of the most fascinating parts of his message. He distinguishes between falling in love and rising in love. Can you unpack that?
Yes, this is quite a shift in perspective. He contrasts them quite starkly. Falling in love, in the traditional sense, he links to the ego's desires.
The ego's desires. How so?
It's about what the little self wants to get, about satisfying human emotional needs. It often gets entangled with need or fear or longing. You know, that feeling of losing yourself or needing the other person.
Yeah, many people can relate to that description. So how is rising in love different?
It's almost the opposite intention. It means to become the heart ecstatic in giving, to be focused completely on being open so that the whole of love can be given through you.
Given through you.
Yes, aligned with the endless outpouring of Source. It's presented as an active, conscious choice to be the source of love, rather than seeking it externally. He actually calls it the greatest honor and the greatest discovery you can make.
From getting to giving, that's a fundamental shift. But many of us feel that deep yearning, that longing for love. We search for it outside ourselves. What's Zorian's advice on handling that feeling?
He acknowledges that longing. He says it's actually the truth of your heart seeking to reveal itself to you. It's your inner being calling you.
So the longing itself isn't wrong.
No, but he says the ego mind steps in and distorts this longing. It turns it into a search for something external, a feeling of lack.
And the solution
is to shift into your heart and reconnect with your truth at the source. By doing that, you allow the living flow of love rushing through you from the divine to lift you up completely.
Lift you up.
How? He emphasizes that true fulfillment comes from the act of giving itself. In giving everything that you are, holding nothing back, letting love pour forth without restriction, you are lifted into a plane of existence beyond what you once thought of as fulfillment. It flips the script entirely. Fulfillment isn't getting, it's being and expressing that love.
Wow. It's profoundly different. But, you know, the ego is tricky. Zorian mentions the ego can even mimic this kind of giving, right?
Yeah.
How do we tell the difference?
Yeah, he does caution about that. He says the ego mind is clever, and it can learn about the spiritual path and then attempt to co-opt it. It can mimic giving, but with strings attached, expecting something in return.
Ah, the hidden agenda.
Exactly. The difference, he says, is in the feeling. Authentic giving brings a feeling of liberation and joy. Giving from the ego, however, eventually leaves one feeling drained or resentful if the expected return doesn't come. It's an internal check. Does it feel expansive or contractive?
That feeling liberation versus resentment, that's a clear marker. How does this apply to our existing relationships, say ones that maybe started in that falling in love mode? Can they become rising in love?
Yes, absolutely. He states, if you have fallen in love in the past, you can transform that into rising in love now. By forgiving from the heart without conditions or fear, it involves consciously shifting your perspective within the relationship, choosing to give without expectation, regardless of how it began.
What about the whole twin flame idea? Does he touch on that?
He does, but he redefines it. For Zorian, the true twin flame experience isn't primarily about finding that one perfect external partner.
Oh, what is it then?
It's more about the discovery of the dynamic forces of life and love that you are made of. It's the union of the divine masculine and feminine energies within you.
An internal union first.
Exactly, a profound self-realization. And it's that inner integration that then allows for truly authentic, balanced connections externally.
That really shifts the focus inward. Okay, let's zoom out again for a moment. Zorian talks about our cosmic role in all this. How does he describe the larger picture, the scope of this transformation we're discussing?
He describes this current time as the turning of the tide, a massive leap into complete freedom from the confines of the limited mind.
A leap into freedom.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is he says this change is so huge, so unprecedented, that it is almost invisible to the analytical mind.
Invisible. How can something so big be invisible?
Because it's a deep, foundational, energetic shift. He says higher consciousness is infusing everything. It's like every life is starting to celebrate the truth, living and breathing together as one joy. It's not just surface changes, it's the underlying reality repatterning itself.
That's hard to grasp, especially when you look around at the world sometimes. The conflicts, the division. How does he suggest we navigate that apparent contradiction?
His guidance is quite direct.
Yeah.
Trust your heart over your ego's perceptions.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True. But he says it doesn't matter what the ego projects. All that noise is like a child having a tantrum while a grand celebration quietly assembles behind the scenes.
So ignore the noise.
Or rather, don't give it all your focus. He encourages focusing on the heart's vision, letting go of attachment to all that seems wrong and broken. And he keeps coming back to that core truth. Only love is real. Anchor yourself there amidst the chaos.
Anchor in love. And within this huge shift, what about us, the individual? How important are we in this grand scheme, according to Zorian?
Incredibly important. Essential, in fact. He uses this beautiful analogy. He describes humanity as a true mandala of the heart.
A mandala of the heart.
Yes, an exquisite interwoven unfolding of love. And he stresses that every spark of life, each soul, each color, each movement in this mandala is absolutely necessary as part of the whole.
Every single one.
Every single one, he's emphatic. Every life is valuable, perfect, an expression of love that must be present for the wholeness to be complete. Your existence, your unique expression, is irreplaceable for the entire creation.
That's a profoundly uplifting message.
Right.
So as we wrap up, what's the final word from Zorian about where this is all heading? This illumination he speaks of.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
He speaks of a coming great cosmic wave of love and that flash of light that so many speak of, the great illumination. He says it will be seen and felt through the whole of creation at the right time.
At the right time.
Yes. And his final message directly to us, to you listening, is deeply affirming. He says, you beloved ones are ready.
Ready now.
You would not be hearing these words or drawn to this message if you were not ready at a soul level. It's a call to recognize your own inherent preparedness for this transformation.
Wow, what a journey through Zorian's perspective. From the new earth to this radical idea of rising in love instead of falling. It really turns conventional thinking on its head.
It really does. And that final thought he leaves us with is powerful. The old ego dream is fading. The call now is to recognize yourself as the heart that gives 100%, because that is your divine nature.
From wanting to get.
To want and only to give with unending joy. That's the shift from falling to rising.
So here's something to really sit with. If true fulfillment, true joy comes not from receiving love,
but from being the source of love that gives unconditionally. How could embracing that change everything? How might it shift your relationships, your sense of purpose, your daily experience? Lots to think about from this deep dive.